These are the exercises I have done repeatedly to become a better piano player. What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Cedric. Welcome back to the studio. Welcome back to SweetScale TV. We've got a very important episode today. This episode is for anyone and everyone that's ever wanted to learn how to play piano. Whether you've never touched the piano before, consider yourself to be a beginner, or even intermediate, this episode is for you. Today I'm going to be sharing 5 tips to help you become a better piano player. It's all going to make sense today, but it's also going to make even more sense in a month, 2 months, 3 months down the road. Before we get into it, if you haven't already joined the SweetScale family, hit the subscribe button as well as the bell notification. In this episode, I'm going to be 100% real because I really want you guys to understand what your experience is going to be like. Tip number 1 requires no piano whatsoever. You need to understand that this is not something you're going to learn in a few weeks. Learning to play piano is the equivalent of learning a brand new language. If you didn't speak English or French, in a month from now, there's no way you'd be fluent in that specific language you want to learn. Well, in a month from now, you're not going to be fluent in as a piano player. In 2 months, you might be better. It's going to take you some time, so understand that patience is very important. Consistency is very important. Trust me, there will be plenty of times where you get frustrated, you'll want to give up, you'll want to quit. And I'm going to explain with tip number 2 and 3. The basics, the fundamentals are extremely important. I can teach you a song, but that would be the equivalent of giving you a fish and not teaching you how to fish. I want to help you guys really develop so that you can also come up with melodies off the top of your head, or you can hear a song and learn to play a song just by hearing it. Of course, that's not all going to happen in this episode. These are the exercises I have done repeatedly over and over and over to become a better piano player, where I can hear anything and play it, or I can come up with any melody that I want to play. And once you have the fundamentals down pat, yeah, you're going to have a lot of fun as a keyboardist, as a musician, but you're still going to need to get past the beginning stages. When I think of learning piano, I think of the Karate Kid. Whether it is the older Karate Kid with the wax on, wax off, or the Karate Kid, I think in 2010, with Jaden Smith dropping his jacket, putting it on, taking it off, putting it up, dropping it on the floor, repeat, repeat, repeat. He didn't have a lot of fun at that beginning stage, but he was setting up a foundation. The core values I'm going to be sharing with you guys, it's a lot like the movie. And I'm telling you, save this episode, because in a few weeks, a few months from now, you're going to understand. Cedric told me it's not always going to be a lot of fun. But if you can get the core basic essentials down, you will be able to learn any song, every song. But you got to start with the basics. Now that we got that out the way, let's talk about scales. Scales are extremely important. Understand that everything is based on scales. Any solos I've ever done is based on scales. Any chords I'm playing are based around scales. For this episode, I just want to focus on the major scale. We're not even going to talk about the minor scale, because once you learn the major, to be quite honest, you're learning the minor. Just going to cover the basics for everyone so we're all on the same page. So we have C, C sharp or D flat, D, D sharp or E flat, E, F, F sharp or G flat, G, G sharp or A flat, A sharp or B flat, B, and then we're back at C. There's a specific formula I'm going to share with you guys to help you learn how to play a major scale in any key. The formula is start, full note, half, full note, half. One more time. Start, full note, half, full note, half. C is our start note. If I was to go from C to C sharp, that is a half note. To do a full note, I have to skip a half note. Meaning, if I was to go from C to D, that is considered a full note. We're going to do start, which is C. We're going to do full note, half. Full note, half. Then we have to do 3 more full notes followed by a half. Full note, half. Do that one more time. We're at the start note. The start note can be any note, but for this example, we're using C. Start. Full note, half. 3 more full notes, and then 1 half. Doesn't matter what key you play in, as long as you repeat this formula, you can learn to play the major scale in any key. Let's use, I don't know, let's use G sharp. That's our start. We're gonna do full note, half. Start, 2 full notes. Now we're gonna do a half note. 3 more full notes. If I go to E, that's my start. Full note, half note, 3 full notes, 1, 2, 3, half. Doesn't matter what key you play in. You're gonna wanna practice this consistently over and over and over again. Before, I only played in C. I did this for 3 months and it took my piano playing to a whole nother level. All of a sudden, it didn't matter what key I was playing in, I was comfortable in every single key. Tip number 3 is something you can do while you're practicing your scales. Learn 4 basic chords. And this actually is a lot more fun than the scales, but the scales are a lot more important because if you can learn the scales, you can learn these chords very easily in every key. We're gonna use the key of C. The 4 chords are C major, F major, G major, and A minor. Once again, C major, F major, G major, and A minor. Now this could get complicated once you start learning these 4 chords in every key. There is a formula to that as well, but I don't want to complicate things in this episode. So we're gonna keep it simple. Go ahead and Google 4 chord songs, and there are a whole list of songs, so many hit songs that have been created off of 4 chords. Darling, just dive right in. Keep it simple for you. Follow my lead. I found C major, A minor, and sweet. F, I never knew you were that song. G, waiting for me. We were just kids, C, fell in love. A minor, but it was F, I'm gonna give you up. C, time to G. That's the 4 chords. I can list so many different songs that are based off of 4 chords. For Intentions, that's a 4 chord song as well.
Picture perfect, you don't need no filter. Gorgeous, make him drop you a killer. Show you with all my attention. Yeah, these are my only intentions.
Tip number 4 is learning to use the sustain pedal, also known as a damper pedal or foot pedal. I've never done a gig without a sustain pedal. It is extremely important. I could play keyboard with one hand, either left or right, but I wouldn't be able to play keyboard without a sustain or damper pedal. What I'm doing is I'm pressing down on the damper pedal. It allows the sound to keep playing with my hands not on the keyboard. Probably wondering, why don't you just hold the damper pedal at all times? Well, this is what it sounds like. You're really going to want to learn how to use the sustain pedal so that you can move from note to note and chord to chord. Once you're able to get the fundamentals of step 2, 3, and 4, which is scales, chords, and sustain pedal. I want you to start experimenting with songs, basic songs, as well as melodies you guys create, because I know there's some producers watching. I know a lot of you guys like to pencil in your melodies, which I still want you guys to do, but once you create a melody, I want you to go to the piano and start learning to play that melody. It will really help you develop your ear as well as creativity in the long run. The bonus tip is something that you don't have to worry about until you've started to really understand steps 1 to 5. This tip right here is something that I really feel is something I've learned to master, and it has nothing to do with my skill level. Yeah, I have the fundamentals down, probably a little more than the fundamentals, but to explain this, I'll give you guys an example. So for those that don't know, I've played in several bands. I've come across plenty of different musicians, keyboardists, drummers, bass players. A few years back, a friend of mine asked me to play at a festival with him. The band was off the chain. We had a great time, and he asked me to play at another festival with him, but I couldn't make that gig. So I referred to another keyboardist. I think this keyboardist is super talented. He knows his chords, he knows his scales, he could do runs left, right, and center. He's honestly more talented as a keyboardist than I am. And so I referred him to my friend. They went through a couple practices. I remember after a few practices, my boy hit me up. He's like, Cedric, is there any way you can make the gig? This guy's just not working out. And I'm so confused. I'm trying to figure out, in my mind, he's more talented than I am. He can do runs left, right, and center. He can play any chord you ask him to play. And he's like, yeah, Cedric, you're right. He's talented, don't get me wrong, but when he plays, he doesn't play with any feeling. My friend told me, when you play, I feel it. It just hit me right then and there. I've really never considered myself to be the greatest producer, greatest musician, but when I play, something I've always tried to do is play with feeling, play with emotion. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna have people crying. If I'm playing hip hop, I want you to feel what I'm feeling. If I'm playing lo-fi, I want you to feel that. If I'm playing trap, I want you to feel it. Whatever I'm playing, I want you to feel it. Once you're able to learn the fundamentals, it's really not about the scales anymore. It's not about the chords. It's about sharing what you feel inside in the chords you play and how you play it. There's certain feeling that you add to it. All right, so that's a wrap. Last thing I want to say once again is be extremely patient. An expert in anything was once a beginner. Eventually you can become a very good piano player, even great piano player. The decision's up to you. It's your boy Cedric from SweetScale TV. I'm signing out. I'll see you guys in the next episode.